Ultima Lucha predictions, baby. Ultima Lucha on Wednesday nights. You're probably listening to this. If you're not listening to this, afterwards, and if you're in the small minority of people that listen to the show before Lucha Underground, then you're lucky. Here are my Ultima Lucha predictions for Wednesday night. I am so excited. It's going to be such a great show. But the Gift of the Gods championship match, which is kind of like their version of Money in the Bank, they had this whole thing throughout the season where if you won the medallions, these ancient Aztec medallions, they didn't reveal the purpose up until just recently, but they said collect the medallions to be inserted into a match. They put each medallion into a large championship belt, and this title belt gives you the opportunity to contend for the Lucha Underground Championship at any time, any place. You can cash it in whenever, but you have to cash it in and give the champion 1 week's notice. That's kind of the distinct difference between that and Money in the Bank. I think Dario Cueto, their authority figure, made kind of like a little joke about the Money in the Bank. Like, you can't cash it in any time. We don't do that kind of stuff here. That's ridiculous. Really funny stuff. But anyway, the competitors in this match are Bengala, King Cuerno, Sexy Star, Big Rick, Jack Evans, Phoenix, and Aerostar. So you got a star-studded lineup here, and no pun intended, of a lot of guys who could kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm sure they're going to be all out of bubblegum. Love you, Hot Rod. By the time this matchup happens, and I think, I'm sure this is no bold prediction, but I think the guy that makes the most sense here has to be Phoenix. The guy that was feuding with Mil Muertes for many months leading to that Day of the Dead match. What was it called? Grave Consequences, a great match. No, that was the first match, and the second match was the no, I think that was the second match. The first match was like the Day of the Dead kind of thing. I forgot what it was called, but their two matches were awesome, and they had a great feud going on. I get the feeling that Mil Muertes is going to win the belt on this show, so then Phoenix will cash in. Maybe he cashes in at the end here, and they save it for the first episode of Season 2, Phoenix versus Mil Muertes. We still have to have that rubber match, and you have it over the Lucha Underground Championship. I see no reason why they can't do that. So I give the win here to Phoenix. Up after that, we got Johnny Mundo versus Alberto El Patron, who is, both guys have been ripping it up in this promotion. These guys are amazingly talented, and I can't believe WWE did not do more with these guys. I know El Patron is a former WWE champion, and he got fired because of the racist comments. But even before that, they were doing nothing with that guy for years. There was no excuse. I know he may not have been motivated, whatever. But he was so wasted. They just ruined that guy's momentum after he tapped out to Cena at the 2011 Night of Champions pay-per-view, which I still don't forgive WWE for. That whole final hour of that show was probably the worst hour that I've ever seen for a pay-per-view as a fan. That was the shits in terms of booking decisions. But anyway, Mundo versus Patron. Here I got to go with El Patron. Easy pick here. He's been out for revenge after Mundo put him through the glass window at ringside, which was just stellar, which was just completely crazy. And Johnny Mundo said in a recent podcast with Stone Cold, they have an awesome blow-off, an awesome payoff to that angle on the series finale, or the season finale, rather. Hopefully not the series finale, at Ultima Lucha. So I look forward to seeing how they pay that off. And I've definitely got El Patron here, so I'm looking forward to what those guys put together on this show. After that, we got El Tejano, I believe it's called, or pronounced it as, versus Blue Demon Jr. A feud that kind of started out of nowhere. Blue Demon Jr. has never really done much for me. I know he was on the debut episode with Chavo, and he didn't do much for me. But El Tejano has come a long way as the babyface. He's kind of like a natural heel, but he is still very good. So I got to go with him here. Like I said, no real substance to that feud, but I'm sure the match will be good, and it wouldn't really make much sense to have the heel go over because El Tejano is kind of on the rise, so I give him the victory in this situation, in this theory, whatever, in this prediction. After that, we got Vampiro versus Pentagon Jr. in a Cero Miedo match. Now I love Pentagon Jr. That guy is badass, as badass of a wrestler as I've ever seen. That guy is just so awesome to watch. He is so great. Vampiro is coming out of retirement for the first time in a decade or something. And I could see them giving him the feel good win, especially if I predict Mil Muertes to win the main event. But I feel like it would be wrong. I mean, this is the same guy that had jobbed out to Sexy Star not too long ago, so I guess I wouldn't be surprised. This was kind of a step up from that view, that match. I'm sure it should be entertaining because these people desperately want to see Vampiro get his hands on Pentagon Jr. and finally kick his ass. I don't know what Cierra Miedo means. It means no fear in Spanish. Maybe it means like an I quit match. I have no idea. I guess we'll find out. But I feel like Pentagon Jr. should win here, and he will win here. Because they mentioned it in a recent, like previously on Lucha Underground. But they said how, what was it? Oh, the whole Master storyline. They've been doing that storyline for months now. They're finally paying it off. They were waiting for the series finale, where Pentagon Jr. answers to a higher power, and we're finally, hopefully, going to get the big reveal on this episode. And I feel like whoever the big master is will be revealed on this show and play a factor in the finish to this match. So I got Pentagon Jr. in his match against Vampiro. And then we get to the main event, Prince Puma versus Mil Muertes for the Lucha Underground Championship. I already kind of gave my prediction for this match. I already kind of said it. But my money is on Mil Muertes to win that title. He's also a badass competitor, one of the guys that I really, really enjoy watching from this promotion. Him, Pentagon Jr. is my undisputed number one favorite wrestler in Lucha Underground, but it's Pentagon Jr., Mil Muertes, Havoc, and Ivelisse are all my favorites on this show. All those guys are great, along with Cage, too. He's really, really good. But Mil Muertes, I think, he's been built up so much, it would be kind of a waste for him to lose here. I mean, they can always give him a rematch down the line, but I think they should go off the Lucha Underground crowning a new champion, the first ever title change in the history of that championship. We got a title change last week when the Disciples of Death won the Trios Tag Team titles. But the title was born, I think, on the first Wednesday of 2015, this past year. I didn't watch it live because I don't watch Lucha Underground live to begin with. But I watched the episode the next day because it was on the same night that I went to the TNA show in New York City, whatever. But that was when the first ever Lucha Underground champion was crowned, when Prince Puma beat Johnny Mundo, who we also would later beat in the All Night Long match, which was so great. I love that match. But anyway, he's been champion since that period of time for the last 7 months. That's crazy, and I think it's time for a title change here. So I'm going with Mil Muertes, your new Lucha Underground champion. So that's going to do it for my predictions for Ultima Lucha on Wednesday night. Even if you've never seen this promotion before, I cannot praise it enough. Even if you read the reviews, you watch that video blog, and you listen to this right here, right now, and you've never seen the promotion yet, you're doing yourself a major disservice. Now, I'm not the kind of person to shove some things down people's throat like watch this promotion. Otherwise, you're a fool, like stuff like that, because I know the feeling of that happening to me, and I don't like feeling forced to watch something, So I'm not saying, watch the promotion, otherwise you're not a real wrestling fan. No, watch it just because it's fucking cool, and it's the greatest wrestling you'll ever see all week. And if you don't watch it, that's cool, because a lot of people just don't have the time. People can't find the websites to watch it on. They don't have the channel on the El Rey network. That's cool. All legitimate excuses, and that's totally fine. And I would recommend going back and watching at least a few episodes before watching the series finale. Otherwise, it's not going to mean as much. But even if you're not watching for the great storylines, which are pretty awesome, by the way, you can watch for the amazing wrestling. And I think this show will bring that, and then some, in the form of these 5 matches and a 2-hour special, which would be nothing short of stellar. So I'm very much looking forward to that on Wednesday night, tomorrow night on the El Rey Network.